everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. Today's the last day of February. I'm getting the video recorded a little bit later in the day than I had intended. I have a bunch of stuff going on, as always, with the end of the month, but this end of the month has a lot of things ending because it's the end of celebration. So I am going to get it posted. It's going to be later in the afternoon than I had intended, but I want to remind you that it is the last day that you can purchase anything and get free celebration products. So there's things that you can get free with 50, free with 100. And if you spend more than 100, 150, you can get 3 things or 2 things. So in increments of 50, you can keep getting free things. You can see them on my website. You can see them in the emails. You can go to either my shopping site or my blog and see lots of samples. On my YouTube, you can see lots of samples. You can get a ton of stuff free, as well as access to all of my past and current online classes if you join my team. So today's the last day for that. And then you can also either take your pick of 3 different ways that you can get a Stampin' Up! Starter kit. And if you just choose to get a starter kit so you can be part of my team solely for the discount, that's fine. Stampin' Up! Is happy to have happy shoppers be part of our teams. So you can do that. Or if you'd like to invite your friends and families to stamp along with you and have a little bit of a side hustle, you can do that as well. So celebration, last day for that. I have a giveaway. So everybody who has ordered $75 or more in merchandise up through the end of the 28th goes into a drawing. I will draw names for that tomorrow. There's a group of us doing a 35 ways to celebrate Stampin' Up! Today's the last day you can register for that. That event is towards the end of March. All of that information is also on my website. And then there is information and registration on our Facebook page for that event. It's going to be super fun. There is a Saturday event that is a stamping event, stamping and bingo. And it's for demonstrators and for customers. So you don't have to be a demonstrator to attend that. And then on Sunday is a demonstrator only event. But today's the last day you can sign up for it. And then today is the last day that you can sign up for my online retreat that happens in March. It's a little mini retreat. We're going to be doing 6 different projects. So that it's the last day to sign up for that. Lots of last days. And then tomorrow starts the online exclusives. That is a new thing that Stampin' Up's going to be doing. So part of the online exclusives, we have not seen them all, even as demonstrators. So we'll get to see them right along with you at some point tomorrow. And then something's happening at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We don't know what it is. We don't even know if it's 1 o'clock our time or 1 o'clock Stampin' Up! Time. But something's happening tomorrow at 1 o'clock. But I'm going to use Irresistible Blooms. If you are in Card Club, I'm 90% certain that this will be our set, but I'm not going to use the paper that goes with, but I will show you. This is the paper. This is one of the free sets for celebration. I did this card yesterday, so this tutorial is up. These are also the embellishments that are part of that suite. And then this is, again, the paper and the dies. So I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit here today. And I am going to use the Irresistible Blooms stamps and dies. But then I'm going to use just a little bit of mix mash. Because in the upcoming retreat that I have coming, I can't talk, we're going to be doing coloring techniques. So this is kind of one. It's a fun way to color and super, super easy. I'm going to use some watercolor cardstock. Then this is, and it's in the annual catalog. This is in the annual catalog. It is our gold metallic. So what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to use, this die is out of the Irresistible Blooms. So I'm just going to lay it here. You want to be careful when you work with our foil because it can scratch. So I'm just going to cut this just the size that it needs to be. You can see where I got my other one from my other card. So just cut it on here and turn around it. And then we'll run this through the die cut machine. And then I have this label. I'm not sure where I pulled it out from. I'll put it down on the what I used part of the video or over on my website. So I'm going to do this. And then I have some really pretty paper that I just haven't gotten around to using. Unless you were in Try It class, we have used it there. Not this. I don't see where I laid it. It's over on my paper trimmer. It's part of the Desert Dream Suite in the mini catalog. And there's two different colors. There's a bluish green hue, and then this one is like Cajun Craze and Petal Pink. So I'm going to use this pink one here. So let's take our Fluid 100 paper. I'm going to use my Versamark. We're just going to do a little bit of watercolor wash, and it's so super simple. This card's really pretty and elegant. Just ink it up here with our Versamark. It's going to come together super, super fast. Make sure when you stamp on the watercolor paper, it's kind of dimply. So you want to make sure you push nice and hard so you get down inside those little dimples. So there's one of the flowers. There's two flowers in this set. And then there's some really nice die cut leaves. And then there's some stamped leaves. And we'll stamp these. And again, make sure that you press hard enough that it's all the way in there. And then I moved my embossing tray out of the way. So I'm just going to use my scrap paper here. We'll go old school. I'm going to use gold powder. Tie in with that gold. Isn't that pretty? So, so pretty. And then this little piece here, before I trim it, I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. And then I'm going to use the thank you. This font in this Irresistible Blooms is so pretty. This one you need to be a little bit more careful. You can't rock it everywhere because you don't want to catch your corners. And the rose gold is a really pretty colored cardstock. And I remember now when I did this, so I did this card and then my girlfriend called, so I finished it off talking on the phone with her. And I remember now that there's lots of hues of yellow. And I was going to put some yellow beads on it, and I did not. But in certain lights, the rose gold definitely has some yellow. So when you use the metallics, you can see that it has a lot of leftover dust. So make sure you knock all that off. And then you can use the paintbrush that comes in the embossing kit if you need to. But usually if you whack it really well, see, it all came off. You want to make sure your fingers aren't like that you just haven't put it on any hand lotion or anything. It's much better to hold it in one spot, and then as you see it melt, just move it. See it change? And you just want it to change. You don't want it to go flat. If you do, this is the rose gold, so it has a definite difference between the powder and the cardstock. If you do gold on gold, it kind of looks like it's been embossed through a folder. All right, so I'm going to put that there, this, and these, and I'm going to run those through my embossing machine. Okay, I've cut all these out. So let's quickly, and it's super quick to paint these in. I'm going to take Cajun Craze, and you just want to take this and press it together, and that will pick up some of the ink on the inside. And then we want to be able to have some lighter colors and some darker colors of the Cajun Craze. So you can see in here where I've just taken my water painter and go ahead and get some water in here. And this will be some really light. And so first do just a quick brush over of the light. And you can have some open spaces where it barely just touches. And that will give you some nice light Cajun. And I'm going all the way to the edges. I don't necessarily want that white border around my flower or my leaves. Get a little bit more water in here. These pens have a thing that say push. The first couple of times you use them, it's a little bit more stiff. You can put them on the table and just literally smush it with your hands. And that gets it so it's a whole lot easier to press than later in the future. And the more times you use it, the easier they are to press down on. So you can see there's a whole lot of water in here, but the watercolor paper will withstand tons of water. So now we have it, and they have that nice light wash color. And I want to get some of it darker. You can see how the paper it's mostly one shade, but it has that fun like texture and contrast of color. And I just want some highlights of darker. So I'm going to go up in here in my pad where it's medium now. And so we'll brush in some medium, kind of do some whole petals, just kind of that same way it's just kind of going through there. I'm not even staying like in whole petals. I'm just going to kind of do what it's doing on the paper, where it's just whole parts. And you can see I have light, now some medium. I'm just kind of keeping those areas. Now I'm going to go up in here where it's just the ink and just grab ink. And mostly just go now in the centers of those places that had that little bit of darker already in them, and just add a little bit more so there's some dark. This is fun to do and oh so simple. I'm going to make sure it works down in here onto that paper. Maybe just a tad over here. And by just getting some really strong ink right here, we can get it to be really, really dark. Some great contrast. And then to clean them off, you just take a dry tissue. And we'd want to do that on this pen especially because it is a dark color. But see, it's just water in there. Now, there is one tip to using a water painter, is when you go to fill the barrel, it's counterclockwise. So you might think, I don't know how to fill this up, and keep twisting. Twist the opposite way is what you think you should twist. Now let's just put this card together. Now, Cajun Craze for our background. And then this paper is 12 by 12. And you get both the coral and then the blues. I don't know, Bermuda Bay maybe it might be. I don't have it laying here. I'm just going to add this first. And that's not going to stay shut, so let me take care of that. Hang on just a second and let me get my bone folder. If your cards do this and you don't have a bone folder, this is the simplest tool you can get, and then it just solves your thing from lifting up. And then here is this. I haven't pulled it out yet because I wanted you to kind of see how it works. So here's what pulls out. Because this is bigger than the card. It's a bit larger than 5 inches. And you, especially when you're using the foil, you want to be careful that you don't kind of pull up on it because then it will stay bent. You want to bend it as little as possible. So just kind of pull up on it gently and then kind of all at one time like this. My only hesitation for using this in Card Club is I can already see my husband's face if I use this and the circle on all your cards, and then everybody gets 2 because we do 2 of each card. And then, although I could give it to him now, right? And he could start cutting. I just have to know what color I want to cut them. Sometimes he is less than enthused with the choices I make for your die cuts. He spends hours and hours and hours die cutting things for you guys. Okay, so now I want to put it here. So see what I mean about it being longer? And then because I was going to use the beads anyway, sometimes I try to think of an easier way than gluing stuff on, but I was going to use the beads and they need this glue. You could use another glue, but this dries clear and it has the fine tip. It's the fine tip glue. So just flip this over and then just add it to some of the large circles. And you don't need a lot. It doesn't need every single solitary large circle. Isn't that a fun match? My daughter, when she was a teenager, would have flipped for this to be her birthday card. And then on my other one, I put this here. I think this time I'm going to try it over here. So this I am going to put just regular adhesive. And you can see it's bent. Again, it's a metallic paper. I'm just going to kind of flip it this way and see it's already unbowed itself. And before my glue sets all the way, I'm just going to slide it just a bit under there. So this card's going to go the opposite direction because I want to kind of put my flower here. And I stuck this down on my other card before I'd really even thought about it. See, it's holding it fine. And as soon as we start sticking those the embellishments on, they'll help push it down a little bit more. I'm going to put this here. This is what I really wanted. I wanted my leaves to go here. and they're going to just be attached. You want to put these on before you do your embellishments because you don't want to have embellishments under your leaves. My other leaves ended up on top of the card. I wanted them to be down here. And I want this to be on dimensionals. I need to twist this around a little bit. So you want to make sure that you use glue or seal. If you're doing more than one card, then you'll know where you want your stuff to be. The seal will move. Get it to go this way. There we go. Now that's the direction that we want it. I'm going to put dimensionals on my flower. And now when I'm looking at the card this way, I see no yellow because the way my lights are hitting it. So I just totally forgot that I thought the yellow beads might be cool. And I just went with pink. But when you hold it this way, you can see the yellow in the paper. So let me have a think as I trim these off. See, this is longer than what you need. So literally just hold this up and trim those edges off. So if you're watching this and it's still February and you want to get any more of my thank you gifts, or you're in Card Club and you don't have a take your pick tool, because I'm fairly certain this is what we're going to be using, you'll need the take your pick with a little putty end, because it's the best way to pick these up. I'm not going to put this on every one of those, just enough. Get my lid back on, and then let's have a look at these yellow ones. I could do all yellow on this one and then all pink on the other, and then you guys could decide. I love that flower. Isn't that a fun way to color? And it was so simple. Watercolor paper's so much fun. It's hard to tell because those blue ones are in there. Well, it also is not great to pull your thing apart. Here's the putty tip, and you can see it just pulls out of the take your tip, and you can just get more of them. So let's go. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this one in yellow and the other one is in pink. I'm not going to combine them. And that way you can kind of tell which one you want. I love these. These are just really, really pretty embellishments. It kind of softens the yellow too when you put it on the rose gold paper, because they're a tiny bit translucent. There we go. So pretty. And let me show you the other one. The other one has the pink beads. They're actually called loose frosted dots. Here's this one. Oops, one of them didn't stick. Sometimes you think there's glue and there is not. So very pretty. And I hope you can see that it has that yellow cast to it. So here's that one. And here's the one that has the pink. I don't know that it overall really changes the total look of the card, but it's a nice little option. And I think you could mix them. I just kind of wanted you to be able to see the difference between the two. So this is I'm pretty sure it's going to be Card Club. So feel free on March 1st. I will try to get an email out. They make it so difficult for us because especially when we can't see the things that until you see them. I will have to have a look at the online exclusives. I will figure out club, but it probably won't be posted until later of the day. And I definitely won't have a Card Club up tomorrow. I have a planning meeting for our 35 Ways to Celebrate Stampin' Up! Event. So I'm meeting with other demonstrators to plan that event tomorrow. So I'll try to get an email out in the morning. It may not even have a video, but it will tell you my March thank you gifts. And I always have a special extra specials to kick off every month. So there will be something if you purchase the first few days of March. But remember, you can always purchase now and get the free stuff from Stampin' Up! As well. So everybody have a great day, and I'll catch you back here in March. See you later. Bye.